Run, Arya, run! No, Game of Thrones, you're not allowed to kill Arya. You're not allowed to kill anyone. Can't everyone in Westeros just get along? Well, it's almost time, everybody. It seems like the wait has been so long, but we're still not ready. How could you possibly be for something so tragic as the end of a show like Game of Thrones? The show has enchanted and thrilled us for years like no other. It's also taken out our heart and stepped on it several times over, but we forgive. Unlike with many of the past seasons of the show, we really don't know much about what's to come. There's very little actual information available, but that hasn't stopped fans from theorizing about what they think is going to happen in the final episodes. Some of these theories are pretty ridiculous. I mean, Jon is not ending up with Sansa, guys, come on. And some are almost certainly true. Luckily for you, we've sifted through them and found the ones that are most likely to appear on your TV screens in a few weeks. Here are 10 things that are likely to happen in Season 8 and why. So it's about time we all admit that we made a massive mistake. For the last several years, Game of Thrones has been committing more and more to its supporting cast. The show has spent a ton of time building up characters like Grey Worm, Bronn, Brienne, Tormund, and Jorah. Foolishly, we allowed ourselves to fall in love with these characters. Well, this year, we're almost certainly going to regret that. While we've seen horrible deaths like the death of Ned Stark or the whole Red Wedding, none of that will likely compare to the carnage ahead. They've been building up this war between the living and the dead for years as the ultimate conflict. It would be a real letdown if the actual conflict didn't feature a heavy death toll. Unfortunately, the first trailer pointed out an obvious truth that we all have wanted to ignore. It showed our fan-favorite characters on the front lines in the upcoming war against the White Walkers. So if the war against the undead is going to be as brutal as promised, we're going to lose a lot of our favorites. I mean, a whole lot. It's entirely possible that within a 30-minute span, the Hound, Davos, Varys, Podrick, Sam, and more could all be brutally murdered in rapid succession. It's gonna be like the Battle of Hogwarts all over again. Ghost is gonna get totally headweight, isn't he? I need to buy tissues before April. I need to buy all of the tissues! While most of the characters on Game of Thrones have had a lot of character development, there's one thing that we still don't know about. Last season's major villain, the Night King, is still a big question mark. We've seen how he was created by the Children of the Forest, but besides that, not much else. Some just think he's a rogue agent from the Children, that they designed him to protect them from man, and he took that a little too seriously. Basically, he's a malfunctioning program that exists with one purpose and no other. So he's like the Terminator, if the Terminator could summon zombies, which sounds like a great movie all by itself, actually. While that is definitely the simplest explanation, it seems out of place for a show so steeped in lore and character development. There have also been multiple times where it seems as though he possesses intelligence, maybe even the ability to see into the future. He was able to kill Viserion and turn him into an ice dragon pretty quickly. He also appeared to Bran in one of his visions and seemed to have some comprehension about what was happening, not to mention the famous "come at me, Snow" moment. Whatever his motivations are, there will likely be a revelation or two regarding his origins. This will probably come from some sort of Bran vision. Many even think that Bran himself will travel back in time and become the Night King, or that he'll become the old three-eyed raven, or Bran the Builder. Look, there are a lot of Bran theories out there. How many of them can be right? The show has been building up Arya as a warrior in training since Season 1. Her entire arc has featured her learning water dancing from Cersei, tactics from Tywin, the finer points of brutality from the Hound, and the art of being a faceless assassin from Jack... Sorry, a man is not Jack and Hagar, a man is no one. I forgot. For all that build-up, we really haven't seen her do a whole lot of fighting. The coolest action sequence she's had so far is when she sparred against Brienne. That looks like it's going to change in the final season. Last season, she was given a Valyrian steel dagger. Valyrian steel is one of the few substances that can kill a White Walker. Obviously, they are hinting at a conflict where Arya will take on a White Walker in single combat and kill it. A girl will truly do service to the many-faced god if she does that. It's too bad they shatter. It'd be awesome if she was able to take one of their faces. She'd be able to freak anyone out anytime she wanted. You thought Arya's pranks were bad before Sansa, hoo-hoo, watch out. The mystery behind Jon Snow's birth parents has been one of the biggest mysteries of the entire series. While most die-hard fans guessed it, casual watchers were surprised to learn that Jon was the son of Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark. It was the moment R plus L equals J fans had been waiting so long for. This revelation did come at an awkward time though. It was revealed in the same episode that Jon began a physical relationship with Daenerys. Too bad neither knew that she was his aunt. That reveal is going to be awkward. Before that happens though, Jon will likely fulfill his destiny as a Targaryen and ride a dragon. Seeing as Drogon is Dany's go-to dragon and Viserion is a dragon zombie, he'll probably ride Rhaegal. Seeing as Rhaegal is named for Jon's father, Rhaegar, it seems only right. I'm really hoping that there's an extended How to Train Your Dragon style where these two have to bond. If only they had a Night Fury, this conflict would be over in no time. Ask any fan of Game of Thrones what grudge match they would like to see most, and they will almost definitely say the Hound versus the Mountain. They had a quick fight in Season 1, but it wasn't nearly enough. The rivalry between Sandor and Gregor Clegane goes all the way back to childhood. Early on in the series, Peter Baelish reveals to Sansa how the Hound got his scar. Young Sandor was playing with one of his brother's toys. Gregor, the mini mountain, wasn't happy about this. He held his brother's head in the fireplace until half of his face was melted. Apparently, Gregor never learned that sharing is caring. I guess there's no purple Barney-like dragon that teaches children life lessons. The two have proven themselves to be of the most feared warriors in Westeros, and both also had near-death experiences. The Hound was nearly killed by Brienne of Tarth, but was revived by Brother Ray, and the Mountain was nearly killed by a swipe of the Viper's poison spear, but was saved by Qyburn, though saved may be a strong word. He's closer to Frankenstein's monster than he really is a person, not that he was much of a person to begin with. Now that the Hound is allied with the North and the Mountain is allied with Cersei, their rematch seems imminent. Start placing your bets now. My money's on Arya killing them both. Gotta cross them off that list. It's the last season, you know. The 7th season of Game of Thrones had a lot of reunions and even more first meetings. Arya and Bran finally met up with Sansa in Winterfell for the first time since Season 1. Unfortunately, Jon was looking to court the Dragon Queen to the south. The next season will definitely feature the long-awaited scene of all the living Starks reunited in their reclaimed home. While it certainly won't be the same without Ned, Catelyn, or Robb, the scene will likely give us some of that warm feeling from the first season with all of the Starks together. No one really misses Tommen. If nothing else, the long-awaited reunion of Jon and Arya will be heartwarming enough to melt some of that Winterfell snow. Arya may be a bit stoic after her Faceless Man training, but it's hard to imagine her keeping a straight face while she meets her favorite brother again. This will likely be the last happy moment for a while, because it's going to get really awkward when Bran tells Jon about his aunt. And I thought my family reunions were weird. There was one moment in Season 7 that was as tragic as it was awesome. When Euron attacked Yara's fleet and crippled a good chunk of Dany's navy, he proved himself to be one of the most fearsome characters in the series. And him jumping from the ship with his axe raised was crazy awesome. Euron ended up taking his niece Yara as a prisoner. Meanwhile, Theon left from his ship and escaped. This scene was incredibly sad considering how much Theon had gone through to reclaim his honor and his sister. It looks like Theon will need one last redemption before the end. It seems nearly impossible for someone like him to be able to infiltrate Euron's navy and save his sister, but that is what the show is hinting at. If Theon leaves his sword at home and remembers his epic bow skills from Season 1, he might have a chance against his beast of an uncle. Just learn from Thor, Theon. Go for the head. The Night King conflict may be the biggest threat in the series, but it's important to recognize that the titular Game of Thrones will be solved as well. The war for the North may be what Jon Snow's story has been leading to all this time, but Dany, Tyrion, and Cersei's have been leading to the ultimate battle for the Iron Throne. No matter what happens in the North, it's hard to imagine that the series won't end with someone victorious over the other houses of Westeros. Dany had all but the throne conquered in the 7th season, but she may not make it out of the Night King conflict. She and Jon may end up dying in the icy cold of the North, saving the world. In that case, it looks likely that Cersei or Sansa will be sitting in that great pointy chair in the end. Of course, one fan theory makes a strong case for that not being Cersei. Fans will remember a flashback scene where a young Cersei visits a witch and asks her several questions about her future. The witch tells her about her time as the queen and the fate of her children, but in the books there's a little more. The witch tells her that she will be strangled by the Valonqar. Excuse that pronunciation, my High Valyrian is a little rusty. Translated into English, it roughly means little brother. While the easiest answer to who that would be is her most hated little brother Tyrion, that seems a little too obvious for the series. The show is known for its epic tragedies, and none would be as brutal as the death of Cersei by her beloved Jaime's hand, who has already made a name for himself as the Kingslayer. While most assumed that his murdering of the king was a dishonorable act, we find out later in the series what really happened. Jaime kills the Mad King in order to save his father and thousands of others from dying by the king's order to burn them all! Clearly, he has a sense of honor and duty that outweighs anything else when hundreds of lives are at stake. Cersei has shown time and time again that she has no problem killing a massive amount of people for her own gain. It's not hard to imagine a moment where Jaime has to make the same choice and kill his only love to save many. It would be the perfect end to his arc and one of the most tragic moments of the series. And that's really saying something. One of the most popular fan theories about the ending of Game of Thrones features Sam writing the history of the series. Sam's journey throughout has revolved around his growth from the worst Night's Watchman to Maester in training. Once the Night King conflict is solved, it's very likely that Sam will return to Old Town. Once he does, he will complete his training and become a full-fledged Maester at last. The show makes a wink at the audience in the 7th season when Sam is looking at the various histories in the Citadel. The show calls attention to how every good history needs a good name. It's likely that Sam will have the perfect name in mind: A Song of Ice and Fire. Fans of the television series may not understand the relevance of that title, but for book fans, it's clear. The Game of Thrones saga is called A Song of Ice and Fire in the books. It would be perfect if the show referenced the source material in the final season. It doesn't hurt that Sam actually looks a good deal like George R.R. Martin, too. It would also be nice if his old buddy Jorah helped him write the Dany parts of the story. That is assuming they'll both live through the finale. But someone has to live, right? There you have it, folks. All the predictions about the final season, or at least 10 of them. It seems so strange that the legendary series is coming to an end. What will life be without Game of Thrones? At least we have the final books to look forward to. Of course, Winds of Winter probably won't be out until at least 2036. I swear, winters in Westeros are faster than George R.R. Martin's writing. What do you think is going to happen in the final season? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe to The Binger for more great content like this. Thanks for watching.